The big question you guys are probably all wondering is, what is this worth?
That one was kind of terrifying. That ran close to $1,000.
Well, after how many years have you had this?
This 22 years we've had this sander now, and this is actually the last object that we are going to sand on this, Dylan.
Now, it's not going out of commission. We are selling it to one of our good friends, Gripple's Custom, but it's been many years and many tables that have went through this thing. And
oh my God.
the new one should be even better.
The replacement is going to be here tomorrow.
We were going to move it, its new position is right there, but we didn't want to block that door.
Yeah, no.
We can move it there?
Move it there and I'll just drive straight in.
Beautiful. Okay, wait.
Beautiful laugh.
Lana Del Rey would be so proud of me right now.
To hang on to this so it doesn't untwist on load line.
Yep. Okay, alright, we'll limit that. Think about seat up the sheet.
Thank you.
Okay, it's not gonna. Might have to unbolt it, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, it's stale. It's only
What part is that, Brad?
This is the transformer. It converts the 400 amp 220 volt 3-phase into 600 volt.
They say you're supposed to use all four, but you never.
biggest difference between full block truck. So, we've got the machine off the truck. The old cylinder's gone. That's off to Garrett already. They loaded that up and he's probably taking delivery of it right now as I speak. But the SCM techs are here and they're just taking off all the side panels, getting everything disconnected from the pallet before we can actually rig this up one more time and get it lifted inside. But already this thing is like so beautiful. So front, we've got a screen that's as big as what Haley uses to edit our videos on, because why not? That's pretty awesome. Here's our in-feed table, and this has the reverse in-feed and out-feed, so we can send something through and it'll bring it back. And then underneath here, on the inside of this sander, check out the size of those motors in there. So they are absolutely massive, way bigger than the motors on our other sander, and that's what's going to power this thing.
I saw the old one just being shipped out.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah. Going off to our buddy's shop. And then it's this thing in, and I guess then we schedule another day for the full setup of it.
Correct. So what I think Kyla sent to Brad yesterday the check sheet, and basically once the machine's in, and you say I got my electric, my air, and my dust done, we then book in and get it come in, get it leveled, and start the calibration and
teach us how to use the thing.
Little bit of overview, and then get you up and running. So if you wanted to preempt having that ready, we can do that for sure.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just a case of we can't run the machine without it fully hooked up.
No. I think we're getting the electrician to come in tomorrow to do his final little bit, so probably sometime next week if that works for you guys.
And I think Brad's already said that he's pretty sure that you're gonna be ready and rating by Friday.
Yeah.
So I can squeeze Kyla and see what the schedule is, because I think Jonathan's got someone coming in from Toronto.
Okay.
On the sander. She's a beast.
Yeah.
Absolute beast.
Bigger than the old one.
You say the brightness.
That's too exciting.
Randy, please, how are you feeling?
So good.
Yeah, that's a heater. I've got the to push in. It's the outside black line, okay? This face of the machine should flush with the black line. So this point has to be about 1.5 inches past that outside black line.
So this is our new planer sander machine.
Ready to go up a little bit? I got stacks.
So are they going to pull the power switch on the box here soon?
Pretty quick.
Okay. We are very, very close to finally having this machine ready. It has been a huge amount of work ever since getting it delivered. Come around back here. The power's in. There's the box. We've got the techs here right now from SCM. They're working away on the inside of the machine. And within like 5 or 10 minutes, we might turn this on for the first time. That's a big planer head. That's huge. I think there's like 500 or 700 knives, something crazy like that on there. So people are going to have to draw straws for who's going to have to change all those.
That's insane.
That's insane.
So you literally just gotta like put a piece of tape by a row, go through, rotate every blade on that row, switch the next one. Oh,
It'll be like a whole day job.
no kidding. That's so cool.
This is a big moment here.
Yeah.
We're actually going to activate the power to the beast.
It's been almost, what, a month that we've had this thing?
Set up.
Yeah.
And Al has been excellent running all the power and cables to the machine. Amazing work he's done.
Yeah.
for us
Yeah,
here.
this is the moment now.
Yes,
This is
there
it.
is. All right.
Yeah. Ready?
Honors.
Okay.
Okay.
Up. Yep.
Okay. Take a look at that, everyone. We officially have power to the machine. The lights are on the inside, and in no time we should be sending our first piece through here.
Just what a difference in machine technology.
Yeah.
Like our last sander was basically 25 years old.
Yeah.
So the advancements in technology is just unbelievable.
Oh, this looks like from another world.
Yeah.
Those are big motors
It's going to be quiet.
compared to what we're used to, probably.
Those are huge.
I know.
We bought the beast,
I know.
right? We bought the bigger one.
We did.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
What a effort. I had this on a drawing a year ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's not just buy a machine, plug it in, and
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we can do a few boards.
Yeah, maybe when we do our first slab,
Yeah.
we'll live stream it. We
Yeah.
want to check our dust collection. We want to, right?
Yeah, we can live stream all that. Why not?
Should,
We
yeah.
should.
Safety thing. So the odd thing, if it's a little wider, if
We're gonna be taking it off. We're gonna have to on some. But I mean, that is your max cutting width.
right there.
It looks like it's pretty close. Maybe overhangs half an inch or an inch on the belt.
Okay.
You see that?
Yeah.
So, machine turns on, as you guys can see. Now what we need to test is make sure that our electrical system can actually handle all the motors getting turned on at one time. We've got 400 amps of power. It was drawing 120 amps right now with everything turned on, but that was going one by one and then letting them run. So they're going to load up a program that turns everything on at once, and hopefully it works. So we've done our tests. We've ran a few smaller pieces through, and now we're really going to push this machine to the limit. So we've got 3 crazy pieces of wood to put through. You've got this giant slab, it's like 13 feet long, over 4 feet wide, map of burl. Then we have this 4-inch thick, 14 foot long, 4 feet wide maple cast that we've done. And then we have a 9 foot long, 3 foot wide, 4-inch thick slab of ebony to set through. So this should be a good way to break it in, and we'll see how it performs. Well, this has been exciting. A year in the making.
Yes, we've reached a milestone.
Absolutely. So you guys have already seen a little bit of us using this machine and playing around with it, but it's really been a game changer for our entire production, because now every table, the amount of time is cut like in a quarter.
At least,
At
with
least.
the efficiency as far as surfacing goes, as far as the quality of the finish coming out the end of the machine, it's reducing our hand sanding requirements as well too. It's been worth the wait, I'd say.
And it was more than just the sander. Why don't you tell our audience about everything else in the shop that was required to actually make this possible?
So we ran into a few things where we were, let's say, short as far as the requirements of the machine were concerned. Starting with maybe number one, the air requirement. Our old sander ran off air pressure. This machine actually consumes air. So one of the biggest investments we had to make is this 15 horsepower VFD, variable frequency drive compressor. We've got to be able to feed the sanding requirement of 89 CFM, cubic feet per minute, at 120 PSI. So it took a huge significant upgrade. In comparison, your average, let's say 50, 60, 80 gallon stand-up single stage or 2-stage compressor will produce about 15 CFM at that rate there.
So what did it cost us to put that in our shop?
Well, this installed became about a $30,000 investment. It is able to run our complete whole shop. That did include the installation of the piping and the plumbing. We've got it protected because we lift things upstairs here. And then it sends over to a reservoir back in the corner here. We've got a 240-gallon storage facility here. Everything is air dried, cooled, it's water separated to give us the purest, cleanest air that we can.
And then since we're here, let's talk about dust collection. That was one of our biggest concerns, is if we're going to be able to actually pull all the chips and dust out of this machine.
And it was my feeling right from the beginning that would be our weakest point, is our dust collection system. So we did a combination system utilizing our existing dust collector, and we've kind of split it into two components. This one here, we've got connected to the 3 sanding heads. There's our 80, 120, and 180 grit belts. It's connected for sanding dust only.
Right there on the top of the machine.
The 3 hoses coming down on the right-hand side are all going to sanding heads.
And that's this dust collector.
Yeah, sanding dust doesn't accumulate the same way that planing chips does. So we'll probably have to clean this and empty this once a week. But this machine is producing 4,400 CFM as far as its cubic feet per minute for draw, which meets the requirements for the machine for those 3 sanding heads.
And we sell this too.
We do. Yeah, this is a Laguna. This is the best dust collector, or one of the top of the line dust collectors that they have for volume and efficiency and pure strength. So this is what it took. It's got a 12-inch inlet, runs, and again, it just vacuums out of the 3 sanding heads only. Now, the biggest producer of volume material is going to be the 54-inch planer head. So what we did with that is I had an old motor from a previous dust collector that we had built decades ago. I'd hung on to it, and the head feeds a self-dumping system that goes into a big bin outside, and so it draws the chips out of the top of the machine, the main 54-inch helical head planer head. It's sort of a booster system, dumps it into the main vacuum system, and out the building it goes. So between these 2 systems, we're able to evacuate everything from the machine. The technician said we had excellent dust collection. And part of this has been formulated, in my mind, and through CAD drawings, the setup, the placement in the shop over the last year since we purchased the machine. And what we ended up changing the positioning of the equipment that we had now, we actually ended up with more space to work on our slabs. It's part of a system for the big slabs, Dylan. Where we still have to knock some of the high spots off twisted slabs. We use that on our Avid CNC machine. We've now got it. We can actually load slabs from outside, if need be, onto the Avid, knock the high spots off, flip that slab over, and then we can come over here and start planing and sanding.
So what did the dust collection system cost?
The dust collection system, the dust collector itself runs about $20,000.
Yeah.
We ended up running about $8,000 in piping for it.
Yeah.
So you're hitting another $30,000.
Yeah.
The one thing that hit us as a surprise was the electrical requirement for the machine.
Yeah.
And initially we kind of had a feeling, we had a big sander, we had talked to our salesman, we had a big sander already, and the thought was that, oh, you guys are good, you already have a big sander. Well, when it boils down to it, this machine actually consumes over twice the amount of power that the last sander did. So then, in a sense of urgency, not knowing what it was going to take to get this, we had to do some investigation into the power requirements, the power available to the building, and in the end, we ended up running a 400 amp service down from the electrical room at the end of the building here to feed power to this machine.
And what was that worth?
That one was kind of terrifying. That ran close to $60,000 for us to get that power run from the end of the building. So that was a big surprise for us, and a shock to the system.
And the big question you guys are probably all wondering is, what is this worth? This is worth about $300,000 for what it is. We had the option of doing one step down, the Euro system.
Yeah.
It probably would have saved us about $100,000.
Yeah.
but we just saw this as a better investment in the future of our business and something that was going to last us for decades and handle anything we could throw at it.
We wanted the heavy duty system, and this is what we've got. It's incredible.
Now, most shops, the Euro system is probably going to be a beast of a machine and do everything they need to do.
Yeah.
We just like to push the limits.
Yeah.
So let's open this thing up. You guys have seen us run it, but let's open this thing up. We'll show you some of the details. We'll actually pull the planer head out for the first time on our own. We've been using this machine so we can see how those knives are holding up, and we'll show you the details.
This bad boy here is 486 14 millimeter by 14 millimeter by 2 millimeter thick helical head knives. And you can rotate them. They're sharpened on 4 sides, so as you use them up, you can rotate everything to get the maximum use. It's the latest technology and incredibly quiet considering what it'll do. This bad boy will peel off 3 millimeters at a pass on solid hardwood lumber.
Yeah.
But that's what the capacity is rated for.
And this is the workhorse of the machine.
Yes.
Like, even on those, let's say you're doing a 3 millimeter pass where you're running all the heads, this will do 2 of the 3 millimeters, leaving only 1 millimeter for the remaining 3 heads to sand. So it's doing the majority of the work, and it's been quite impressive. Like, we've been able, you guys probably just saw in the video, we did that 14 foot by 4 foot by 4 inch thick maple burl and resin table.
Yes.
Went through like nothing.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. So, like my dad mentioned before, in the past, if we were going to be surfacing, let's say that table for example, we're using our Avid CNC machine. It has a, is it a 3-inch or a 4-inch diameter cutter?
About 3.5 inch diameter fly cutter.
3.5 inch diameter fly cutter, and on a 4 foot wide table, you have to make multiple passes to actually surface that entire piece, and we can only cut about 1 mil or 2 mil at a time using that CNC.
Yeah.
So on a big table like that, you can be, what, half an hour for a pass if you're cutting nice and slow?
Well, it's some of the processes, depending upon the thickness of the pass that you're taking, but to get a table using our old system, and not that an Avid is a bad machine, it does exactly what it's supposed to do, but we can be an 8 to 12 hour process to get a table surfaced and sanded to the point where Randy can start working on the finishing of the table.
Yeah.
It now we're looking at probably
1
to 2 hours.
1 to 2 hours.
1 to 2 hours.
Yeah.
To be able to take a table, we start feeding it through. It's probably 4 or 5 passes at the most, maybe on the top. The machine has an auto return feature where it raises the head, returns it, goes down, cuts it again. So we're not pulling the table off the feed system for each pass that we go. So it's just incredible labor savings.
Yeah. So that is the new machine in all of its glory, and we're gonna get back to making some sawdust with it. What are your final thoughts on this?
Well, I don't know, it's just a huge investment.
Yeah.
It's more than the first house that I bought.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, now we're going to work on wearing this thing out and paying it off.
Yeah. So thank you guys for being so patient, waiting for us to receive this. Thank you for following along, and we can't wait to show you us using it.